Morning, Preservation Thursday. Allman Brothers and Jessica bringing us in. Of course, first time I saw them, this song hadn't been recorded yet. Dwayne was still with them. Brothers and Sisters album. This was live at Capitol Theater, 1979, 4/20, 1979. Preservation Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. Preservation Thursday, coming to you live in the Aladay LLC mobile studio. Trying to make it really mobile right now. We're going to get to some contract stuff today. We're going to talk about contract. The Daily Journal. Check today's links and information in the links. Got some Business 101 tips in there for you. Got quite a few things. Got some OSHA tips. Daily Journal. Economy up, foreclosures down. When I saw the tagline, my first thought was, duh! Foreclosures usually don't happen when the economy's well, because everybody pays their bills. They can pay their bills. They can afford to pay their bills. They can afford everything that goes along with paying the bills. Heat, gas, water, food, electricity. But it would tie in to one of the biggest topics in property preservation industry today, ladies and gentlemen. What is that? Diversity. How do we diversify? Check out Hire a Pro. I haven't had a chance to talk with the gentleman yet. I do know we will be. He had a buttload of work. He was telling me before the holiday season started. So hopefully he's wrapping it up and we can sit down and have a sit-down talk and get some more information. But I need to clean something up that I said. I said it was free. Not completely. It is free, but it's not free. And what I mean by that is he is offering a service. He is offering a service for people to come look for contractors and for contractors to throw their hat in the ring. $1 a day. That to me would be advertising. That to me would be a marketing campaign. Now, this is how confident he is in his services. If you go sign up, 6 months are free. The first 6 months are free. He is going to give you a 6-month trial period, absolutely no cost to you, to show you. That tells me he's got a little bit of confidence in what he's doing. It might be worth a look if you're trying to diversify, you're looking for extra work. And boy, oh boy, do we need to look for extra work, because there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. The watch list just grows every day. Kenia Mendez. Kenia, Kenia. I'm not sure if that's a male or a female. I don't know. Mendez, that name came across my desk because they Acclaimed Enterprises Incorporated, Stonewall, get a load of that name, Stonewall, getting work from NFN. The scuttlebutt is, where'd I put the... on my notebook here, the scuttlebutt is, that's not a good thing. And we all know NFN is insolvent, period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. NFN is insolvent. The big deal about these companies, they're saying 45 to 60 days. No, period. That's too long. It pushes you out past certain unalienable business rights, as they say, unalienable rights. As a business owner, and make no mistake about this, even though, and this is where they want their cake and eat it too, they tell you can't lien a property, you can't do this, but if you have a business license and you don't get paid, it is your right as a business owner, my license, I own it, to lien a property. You can do it. And we're going to get to that because there's in the description is a link to an article about, and I want you to stop and think about this for a minute, because this is one of the defense arguments I've heard that nationals, order mills, etc. have attempted to use. They only did part of the job. We'll get to that. We'll get to that in a minute. But the names to watch out for: Glenn Goldberg. He's the registered agent for Stonewall, AEI, Dunn Malone. Greater volume? How are you going to have greater volume when all the markets are doing well and foreclosures are down? Everybody is saying foreclosures are down, even the organization that cheats minority, females, and labor every single day, NAMFS, the National Association of Management for Stealing. What do? They're saying it. They're posting it. The executive director is posting article after article after article about how great the economy is and how foreclosures are down. So inventory in the foreclosure industry is garbage. So I don't understand. And we're going to get to a company. A contract came across my desk. When we get to Business 101 here in a few minutes, we're going to talk about the contract. Total Presence Preservation, LLC. They're out of Arizona. In conversation, I don't think the people are bad people. And we'll get to that in a minute. Reliable Reports. Reliable Reports is an insurance inspection company. Guess what problem they're having? Guess? Take a guess. Can you figure it out? Huh? Any idea? Any idea? I'll give you a hint. It's the same problem FAS has. It's the same problem the boost checks, AMS, and the membership of the National Association of Mortgage Field Services has. Reliable Reports is an inspection company, and they, of all people, believe it or not, are having an independent contractor employee controversy, and they have lost. The people are declared employees. So something to be aware of. And I want to address this next subject I'm going to talk about here. Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. Link in the description. Be sure you go and read this. Especially if you're doing Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac work, you make sure you go and read this article, because while you're getting beat to tears to clean the commode, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have the highest paid employees in the country. I didn't make it up. Link in the description. This is something for you to consider. Part of negotiating. The one who comes out ahead on the negotiation has the most information. He has the most tools in his toolbox, all that kind. You can put any cliche you want there. The reality is, information is knowledge. What do they say about knowledge is power? That is that is a little nugget of information to help you negotiate, because you can always say, hey, you know what, man, you're making way more money than I am, and you're going to want me to do this for $20 when it's a $95 job? Food for thought. It makes no sense to me why labor won't stand together on issues like this and say, hey, wait a minute, this is wrong. And I don't know, man. I don't know. The bottom line is you're being paid to be dictated to. Being paid to be dictated to. Hey, coffee cup, courtesy Hidden Valley Wild Horse Protection Fund. Of course, you can get your own coffee cup if you're in the Reno, Nevada area. If you're in the Reno, Nevada area, you like that coffee cup? Isn't that kind of cool? Nice little bamboo leaves on it and everything. And it came full of chocolate. Oh, cut it out. And the gal behind the counter, she's kind of easy on the eyes, man. Go see her at Foothill Feed and Mercantile. You buy a cup, it helps the horse protection fund. So It's a good cause. You get to see a pretty girl, and hey, you get some chocolate. How do you go wrong? $5, man. Come on. What it doesn't come full of is Sumatra mandolin. That you have to go get on your own. Boy, that's some good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. There's also a link in the description today, how to legally use images in your social media. Let's say you're promoting something. Myself, and I was very, very, very adamant about this. When we were developing our website, everybody wanted to use canned pictures of the key in the lock, lawnmower on the lawn, and all this stuff. And I was very, very adamant about, no, I want my work on my website. I want our company's work on our website. And he goes, why? I said, because that's advertising somebody else's work, and it's not mine. If I'm having a, come on, if you're doing a website, if you're doing your website, don't you want to be proud of what you are doing? Something to think about. Do people, there's a big difference in the photographs. Of course, they use a higher resolution, professional cameras. You're using a little camera. You might be using your phone, whatever. So what? People want to see what you do. They could care less about a professional photograph when it comes to the quality of your work. They want to be able to see that. There's a flip side. I have a blog on the website. Occasionally I use photographs. I'll go out and get them out of Cyberland. I just grab them at random sometimes. I got told in the very beginning, you got to be careful. If there's a copyright, they'll come beat you up on it. You check it out. So I would always check it out. And I've used a couple photographs, and I've actually Getty Images. Ducks in a row. Remember, get your ducks in a row. Remember that series of articles I wrote? Ducks in a row. Get your ducks in a row. Getty Images comes and says, hey, you owe us a bunch of money for this photograph. I said, no, I don't. I used that photograph. Look at the date on the article. It was before you bought it. Oh, but it's our image. We own it now. You have to pay. No, I don't. All I have to do is remove the photo. Here's how that works. These photo stock places buy vast amounts. They buy blocks, chunks, you know, like just like people on this auction with the properties, but they buy photographs. They might even have photographers working for them that contract out and sell their photographs. So if you're using a photograph, let's say I write an article today, January 3rd, 2018, and on February 1st, a company buys that photograph from somebody that I found out there in Cyberland. There's no meta tag in it. There's no nothing that says that this photograph is copywritten when you do the left click on the stuff. So I go ahead and use it. This company says, hey, that's our photograph. We need to be compensated. I go in and look. I take the photograph down. As soon as I am notified that photograph belongs to somebody, I remove it. That's my only obligation. And butted heads with Getty Images on this. And the bottom line was the court said, no, when you notified him it was your photograph, he did the right thing. He did the ethical and moral thing, and he removed the photo. He removed that image because you had notified him of it, but he used the image before you purchased it. It is not your property when he used it. That's how that works sometimes. So, but there'll be an article in the, there'll be a link in there, how to legally use images in social media. Sometimes you'll have to pay a fee, sometimes you won't. Also, there'll be, if you're in the Reno area, what's this gal's name, man? Candy Peak, I believe. She's with the Ferrari Lund people, but a good realtor. She posted something up and I grabbed it from her. It's a disclosure, a checklist if you're buying homes, selling homes. So you can have some information on that. Can't, oh, I got a note here. It says can't make it up. Back to the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, folks. If you're doing this work and you're not allowed to negotiate, and we're going to get to that in just a minute here because I want to read. This is a very telling statement. Now, I'm not going to call the person out individually. I understand what they're doing here. I was sent a contract from Total Presence Preservation. I start reviewing the contract, and then I saw something somewhere about training, and I'm like, oh, there's a red flag. I have to download something to do the training. That's another red flag. That means there's a third party hosting something somewhere involved. You can't go into their website and look at the information, etc., etc. But this paragraph right here is a very telling statement on the position, condition, however you want to call it, of the industry today. In the event there could be some open communications in this business, most of us would be in a better position to make some actual money. Since you are aware of how the business works, then you know 9 out of 10 times our work ethic and capability to cover a large amount of area has been offered TPP LLC a position to extend into other areas. With this expansion, we are fairly new on the scene, and if we pay the absolute best at this moment and receive crappy contractors, then in return, I am the one who has mud on their face. I am sure you can understand that, and if not, then it's a good thing that you passed on us. You get what you pay for. How many times do we discuss Craigslist hacks? There's even a guy, and he's an order mill too, but there's even a guy with that handle on Preservation Talk. Craigslist hacks, that's what he goes by, and he's subbing the work out too. He's order milling too. I bring this up because let me read this was my response. This was my response after reviewing the contract, after reviewing pricing. Okay. Couple of issues. Your pricing is impossible to make work and your contract is unacceptable. That was her response to me. The young lady's response. At some point I asked myself why I even dignify your email with a response, but my honest answer is this. I am not here to make a ton of money off of anyone. I am here to make a strong partnership with other like-minded business owners in the same field as myself and possibly become one of the larger companies and leverage that pay we deserve. So she's already telling me she knows her numbers are no good. That's number one. There's another red flag, if you will. Number two, you're not in business to make money? I am. And when you want to pay me $18 a cubic yard for debris removal when I have to pay $25.76 to dump, we have a problem. That's not a negotiable, that's a long shot in the middle there. That's over $7, ladies and gentlemen. $7 a yard. You get 100-yard trash out, you just lost $700. Places don't give discounts. Why am I giving you a discount? You want me to pass something on to you that I don't get, is basically what's happening. You want people to work for free. And I'm sorry, but that is not good. Business 101, Business 101 today, ladies and gentlemen, Business 101. Griffin Security Services, you need risk assessment. Check that guy out, man. Ray Griffin, Griffin Security Services. There's a couple good things about their contract, but the overall contract, I cannot endorse this company's contract for a few reasons. But first, let me talk about, they do have an ACH program. And the thing that first thing that stood out was there is only, the contract and the agreement on that portion of the contract is only for them to deposit money. Whereas in other cases I have seen, they can take money out of your account at the same time if they want. So that issue wasn't in there. In that respect, that was good. But the contract was heavily laden with repetitive paragraphs, repetitive phrases, repetitive clauses, all dealing with compliance. And I can find no licensing in other areas where they're pushing work to, except Arizona, where they're located. So again, my question becomes, everybody has to be in compliance. That is footing the bill for the industry, but the people who are in a position to cheat you out of money do not have to be in compliance. That to me is wrong. They do have to be in compliance, they're just not. Why are you being forced to be in compliance with a third-party background checking company when your police department can do that for you for 20 bucks? When you, for 30, 35 bucks, can find something online for background checks on employees for 3 years. Unlimited background checks for 3 years. That's what we did at our company. That's what we did at our company. So I'm not understanding why everybody wants to jump on this bandwagon and continually foot the bill for membership of an organization that condones theft and corruption and graft. I don't get it. It makes absolutely no sense. How many times do you have to be told that you have to have a license, a proper license? I think it said in this contract, I'm not sure, I think it was 12 or 13 times it had that phrase. Must be properly licensed, insured, etc., etc. Remember what a contract is, ladies and gentlemen. A contract is a negotiation process. A contract is an agreement of mutuality. You getting a contract and being told you have to sign this, initial it so I know you understand it, and you don't get any input, that's not a contract. That is what they call an employment contract. That's not a business contract. I'm sorry, it's just not. It's not a business contract. The other thing, and we're starting to see this more and more and more and more because, and I'm sorry, if you're going to tell me I can't say anything disparaging, if you're going to tell me I can't work for anybody when I'm done working for you, if you're going to tell me I can't lien a property, think about it. Think about it. Think about it. If Company A does not pay Company B, and Company B contacts me and I talk about it, and Company A wants to go get Company B, Company B has not violated anything. They haven't said anything disparaging if they have spoken the truth. And always remember this. Only defense for libel, only defense for slander is the truth. So when these companies say, oh, they're making disparaging remarks in public about us, why didn't you pay them? Why didn't you pay them? Is that the proper avenue? I don't believe so. I believe it's a last resort. And when I see people do this, and that some people get in touch with me, I'll give you an example. I'm talking with somebody right now. Michael Breeze owes him over $150,000. He's bouncing around changing company names. Don't sue the company. Sue the people. Attach the resident agent. Attach whomever is listed on the business license. There's always a name on the business license. Find out who it is. Put their name. Attach their name. And add any future business involved with, because that's what they're doing now. They are changing the name of the business. Oh, well, that business is closed. There's no money there. Bankrupt them. Make them file bankruptcy. That is how you have to do it, because you're going to be considered a creditor if you owe money. The other big thing that I do not like, and you guys know how I feel about this, The no negotiation on chargebacks. I'm sorry, no, you don't get to take my money without my input, period. I lien the property. Oh, can't do that according to the contract. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Understand, when you guys start talking to attorneys, understand subject matter jurisdiction. It is very, 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 very important. It's very critical to what you're doing. If you're in Florida doing the work and the guy's in Minnesota stealing your money, you file in Florida and force his hand to come to Florida. If he doesn't come down, Florida's going to go get his money, especially if he's not licensed in that state. Maybe he's licensed in Florida and Minnesota, but he's not licensed in Colorado. Do you see what's going on there? Attach every business name they have. Attach everything that there is. Right now, if people went after Michael Breeze, they can use a photograph. He posted up in social media. $150,000 season tickets to the Minnesota Vikings while he owes people money and he's cheating minority females in labor. And oh, by the way, he's a member of the National Association of Management for Stealing. That's the membership. That's what they do. I would think if you're negotiating anything in property preservation, ladies and gentlemen, that if they're a NAMFS member, that is a massive, it's a red flag bigger than my 30-foot trailer. That's huge because that is the MO of that organization, and they don't stop it. They continue to recruit, and bring in new blood every day so they continue and perpetuate the cycle. It's disgusting. But the biggest thing, and this is, the gal really didn't, because I had to write back, and I'll tell you, where did I put my dooberhickey here? I got a note here somewhere. Because when I wrote her back, I told her, hey, look, you can't dictate to me. We're not doing this. I do not accept pricing. We bill. Our landfill charges $25.76 a yard to dump. They want to pay $18. They want to pay $12.50 for a lock change. Ladies and gentlemen, you're paying $5-6 a lock, even if you're buying 100 of them at a time and get them for $4 a lock. How do you justify doing that lock change, the travel, the insurance, the fuel, the time for $12.50? $8 if you get it for $4? Come on. Are you dumb? It takes you, that's making less than minimum wage. It's making, by the time you're done, you've lost money. There is absolutely no way as a business owner you have profited from that transaction. I'm sorry. It's impossible. You can't do it. We bill $125 per winterization, not $35. We don't accept $35. It costs me more than $35 to do a winterization. $45 on a lock change. We also don't accept $50 to do a sales clean. We bill $275 for a sales clean up to 2,000 square feet. And every 100 square feet over that, we add for every 100 feet over 2,000 square feet, we add another $75. So something to consider. And like I said, with all due respect, I don't need a lecture on the industry, but this contract that I have reviewed, according to law, I don't make this up, according to state laws here and there that we're supposed to follow numerous times, must be in compliance with all state and local laws. Okay, our laws say you don't get to pay me when you get paid. Our laws say when I submit an invoice, I deserve payment. Now, back to the argument. You're going to love this. Back to the argument. They didn't complete the job, therefore we have to charge back. If an improvement has been made to a property, if you do a job, mowing a lawn is an aesthetic improvement, Lien rights are in play. Zlean.com. Get over there, talk with Scott Wolf. He'll get you taken care of. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we've all heard it. We all say it. Everybody in social media discusses it. You get what you pay for, is what they say. And we all want to say we do the best. And I'm not, look, you have to have competition or you can't say you're the best, period. Because if you're the only one standing on the corner picking your nose, you're the only nose picker on the corner. You're the best. You're the only one. You're the best. There's nothing to compare you against. But if there's a dozen of them, hey, now we got all kinds of things going on, huh? So competition is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. And everybody needs to understand that me doing a job for $35, when that job pays, should pay $125, I'm the idiot. And I'm screwing you. That is how that works, ladies and gentlemen. So when you hear me say labor really needs, to have a come to Jesus moment, whatever you want, again, whatever cliche you want to put in there, labor needs to sit down and have a conversation with themselves. Labor needs to understand business a lot better because they don't. And all of those that say they do, I mean, even industry veterans that are well respected in the industry, when I hear them ask a question, when I see, a social media post and it's a question and they close out the post with, and don't tell me shut the F up and tell them to go F themselves, that's not the answer, but that is the answer. That is the answer. No, I'm not doing it for that much money. How do you're already telling everybody you can't make a number work, but yet you're not willing to stand up to the person wanting to stuff the number down your throat and say, hey, it doesn't work? What do they say about doing the same thing over and over and over and over, expecting a different result? Duh. Or as Homer would say, do. Yeah. Let me see what I got going on in the description today. I know there's some tips. There's some business 101 tips. That's right. The question of the week. Question of the week comes from Cheryl Cooper out of Colorado, asking what to do if you can't get. She went to make a donation to somebody, a charitable contribution for tax purposes, and they balked at the request to see last year's tax statement. She wanted to know where the money was going. But her question, do 501c3s have employees? Of course they have employees. They're charitable organizations. Of course they have employees. And of course they're liable on the back end of tax liabilities that go along with employment. Charitable organizations can't get anything done without employees. Now, sometimes those employees are volunteers. Sometimes those employees come in and give their time. That's that individual's charitable contribution, if you will. But that all can be recorded, because here's why. This is why. If you call my company and they send me out in the field, you're going to get billed $45 an hour for the time. Okay? So that means if I am donating time to a company, that time should be counted and it can be deducted from my taxes. That is my contribution to the charity, and your labor can be compensated in a tax write-off. Food for thought, just something to think about there. That is, and again, when some organizations are exempt from certain elements of tax liabilities, such as workman's comp. They don't have to pay workman's comp right now. The only time they have to do something is if there's an injury. Certain types of organizations are allowed that exemption, and I'm drawing a blank on the types. But there are organizations that are allowed to bypass the workman's compensation issue. We all know the workman's compensation is a massive, massive insurance fee every year, and it's based off of what you pay your employees, which I think is crazy. I've never understood why, if I have a company for 7 years without an accident, how come I have to, and I keep expanding, I keep growing the business, and I keep hiring new employees and bringing new employees on, why my workman's comp goes up when you have no on-site injuries, on-job injuries, and you're not taxing the system. On the flip side of that, ladies and gentlemen, workman's comp is the insurance that is abused and cheated the most of all insurances. So it's kind of a give and take there. You kind of understand it, but you don't. If you got a good company, you're having safety meetings, regular safety meetings, which is something you always want to do. You always want to have, if you have a company, you always want to have a safety meeting every week. Job site tips. Job site tips. Common sense. They're all common sense. No drugs and alcohol on a job site. Duh. Some of your employees smoke. It's a reflection on your company. Do you want a policy? Most places, no smoking in the building. They make employee go out behind the back 40 and smoke. Job sites are a little different. You're out in the air. So California can't do it. Can't do it in California, period. You got to go hide somewhere and smoke a cigarette over here in California. Of course, children and pets, that's kind of a common sense safety tip right there. How about loud rock and roll music, or loud heavy metal, or loud country, loud jazz? I don't care what kind of music you want to listen to, but loud music kind of gives a boisterous kind of thing. And what, are they having a party over there, or is that a job? If your truck's sitting in the front and your company name is on it, the guy's going, man, I don't want to call that company. Just a little food for thought, This one here, and this one is a touchy one. Language. How do you want your company reflected? One of the things that Lacey was very adamant about with me, when I first started publishing and writing on the blog, language was very, very, very important to her, because if every other word out of your mouth begins with an F or ends in T or whatever, just think about that for a minute. We all don't. I mean, some people, that's just the way they talk. It's the way they grew up. However, when you get in a business environment, it's a new animal. What you do at home is fine. What you do around your buddies, that's fine. I have always said this, and it's a very cliche thing. I'll give you an honest day's work. Just pay me right. Give me an honest day's pay. You know, I've always believed that, and I don't think that's a bad thing for a philosophy for an employer to have. But if you have that philosophy as an employer, I have it as an employee. And I'll give you an example. In 1978, my brother cut his finger off. My brother was a staunch believer at that time. I'm on somebody's time clock. This is their time. They're paying for it. I need to give it to them 110%. I kind of do a little party. I was carefree and go get them. As soon as he cut his finger off, I got to thinking for a minute, you know what? I cut metal all day long without safety glasses, and I'm stoned half the time. I've never done it since. Never done it since. If I punch your time clock, I'm going to be sober. Because as an employer, you deserve that. You're paying me. You didn't pay me to get stoned and do a half job. You pay me to do a job right the first time. As an employer, I demand that from my employees. You will give me a good day's work. I compensate good when we pay decent. But I never had a problem with people separating. I'm on the time clock. When you get off, hey, let's do it up. Have a great time. when you come punch a time clock, business 101 tip of the day. If you're going to do what you want to do, you do it on your time. When you go to work, give your boss a good day's work, give him a fair day's work, and see if down the road it doesn't come back to benefit you, because it will. If you got a good employer, and most of us like our employers, or we wouldn't be working there. You quit when you don't like your employer. You go find a new job. Always. And if you got to, don't be afraid to talk to your boss. They'll appreciate it. They will appreciate it. Hey folks, remember hireapro.com. If you're looking to diversify, it's like I said, I haven't had the opportunity to actually sit down and talk in depth with this gentleman. We have spoken a few times. He has been in the middle of jobs and projects going on right now. So hopefully we'll get a chance to delve into the program he's developing over here in California. It is a West Coast program. Are you on the West Coast? Hey, we'll see how it goes. I know there's a lot of things, Angie's List, stuff like that out there, but this is kind of a different animal. This is a different animal because this guy, not only does he know the property preservation industry, he knows all the stuff that goes along with it, but he's willing, because of the service he is willing to provide, he's willing to go to bat and find attorneys and assist in collection and stuff like that. So that is the element that I want to talk to in depth, and I'm sure we're going to highlight and profile this company as time goes on. If you like what you hear, give us a thumbs up. Hey, subscribe to the station. You know what? Speaking of subscriptions, since Tuesday, GMO Tuesday, holy Toledo, ladies and gentlemen, over there on the Twitter, I picked up 35 people in 2 days. I haven't checked this morning. That was last night. 2 or 3 more subscriptions on the YouTube station. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. I've forged some new relationships in the marijuana industry, and I heard this morning we're going to be talking about it. We're going to be talking about it. You can bet, because Jeff Sessions came out and said no to the legal end of it. He did not say no to the medical end, and that's very, 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 very important right there. A very big distinction that is going to be made. So remember, it's a federal crime. If you're out there on the corner puffing that reefer, it's a federal crime. California might say you're okay, but the feds can say you're a bad boy, you're going to jail. They can do it. It's a federal crime. Remember that. But we will talk about all that stuff on the GMO end of it. I've got some good people talking to me right now about stuff. We'll profile their companies and how this medical marijuana thing is going on. There is some scuttlebutt about Monsanto, GMO marijuana. Scuttlebutt only. I'm not finding any validity to the thing. So I'm going to start investigating this website, because this is the second article in 2 weeks that we have discovered on exposing Monsanto that turns out to be bogus. So I'm wondering if it's not a Monsanto propaganda game. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Think about that. Oh, you're using bogus sources. What about the rest of your sources? And that's how they do it. They're a very, very conniving company. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you hear, thumbs up. Of course, subscribe to the station. Looking for advertising, looking for shout outs, give me a holler. We can help. We can help. We got a good reach. We're getting better every day. We get bigger, 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 bigger. It's what it's all about. We're having a good time. I hope you're having a great day. Let's all have a good time, and let's all be safe out there.